What's up, guys? NYKia31 here, bringing you part 1 of 2 of, well, I hope there's only 2 parts, of Zone Defense 101 in Madden 13. Now, why play Zone Defense? Because, after all, Zone Defense is broken. You'll get torn to pieces playing Zone Defense. It doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. When you can just sit in man 2 or bring man coverage hyper blitzes, play man with guys dropped into pinks and purples, pinks and yellows and blues all game long, and don't have to worry about that headache. Sure, you can do that. You can mindlessly call man 2 and man blitzes, but that's only going to get you so far. You're going to eventually run into people who know how to combat that, and if you don't have anything else to fall back on, then what do you have? So incorporating zone defense, learning how to play zone defense, will greatly add flexibility to your defense and offer you advantages that man coverage does not. You get good run support in some situations, and you're also able to create looks based on your play call, your stick skill, and your adjustments that users in an online ranked environment typically aren't used to seeing. Most users are conditioned to attack man coverage. So if you can get good at playing good sound zone defense, you're going to have all the more advantage. Now, getting good at playing zone defense is about, just throwing numbers out in the air. A third understanding what to call and when and why. And then a third of understanding your personnel. And a third is being good on the controller, being good on the sticks. Now, I happen to be average at the last part, but very good at the first two. And depending what kind of player you are, you guys know your own strengths and weaknesses. You'll be able to fit what I show you in these two videos into your own individual playstyle as best you can. But what I'm going to go over is just some basics as far as what to call, when, and how, and why. Just going to pick anything here on offense. I'm going to first go over cover 2 sync, my baby.
18. Red 18.
Mr. Tampa 2 here. Who runs Tampa 2 in online play? I do.
We ready? Wide 88. Wide 88.
Very good at cutting off and limiting the damage that slants and shallow crosses can cause. You see that there's a hole in the deep sideline. You have that deep middle area and deep seams. That's a vulnerability. But I'm very good as far as cutting off those curl routes, out routes, and slants. Because you have people there that can either obstruct the throw and pick it off, or if the ball is caught, really close and lower the boom on the receiver. So it makes those throws a lot tougher. Tougher windows lead to inaccurate throws, which leads to interceptions, or it leads to receivers being forced to make spectacular catches or catches in traffic. And if they don't have the ratings to do it, then all the more advantage to you. Now you'll notice that twist stunt to your right. Sometimes I keep it on because it's good at protecting you against draws, because many times this defensive end will loop and cut off that draw right here. And if you have a stud pass rusher on the other side here, he'll provide you with the edge rush. Typically against scramblers, I would have, if I keep the twist stunt on, I would have the twist stunt on the short side or boundary side, and the edge rush on the field or wide side. And if I need to, I would spy this defensive end. In anything greater than 3rd and 10, this guy, if I'm not using him, is being dropped into a deep zone for my Tampa 2. Sometimes I'll even combine that with this. That's why I like athletic defensive linemen. Most times in pass rush situations, I want the defensive end heading straight upfield, both of these guys, so I'll re-blitz him and cancel that twist stunt. But sometimes it's useful to have it, like in those situations where a draw might be coming. When the ball is on the wide side of the field, or on a hash,
Red 18. Red 18.
I will widen the safeties, zone to sideline. See, they take a much wider split. The safety on your right, he's in a much better position to get off that hash.
Hey.
Vertical. He's in much better position to cut off that route. If the ball is lead passed, he'll be in better position to contest the pass. And of course, how well he does that will depend on how good of a player he is. Cover 3.
Rally. Wide and yank.
You have good strong side run support with that safety coming in to cut off anything outside. Same thing with the left outside linebacker. You have a natural pinch stunt there to help cut off draws and whatnot out of these two. In passing situations, when I don't feel like the down and distance makes me concerned about the flat area, I will hot route both the curl flat safety and the curl flat linebacker to pinks. I'll do that like so. Curl to flat. Curl to flat. And also in long yardage, anything greater than 3rd and 7, and also in must pass obvious situations, I will use play pass. All play pass does is make your defenders be much more aware as to down and distance in their zone coverage drops, and will get your defensive linemen to quote-unquote pin their ears back and rush upfield. It makes you more vulnerable to draws and runs, but if you're in a situation where your opponent has to absolutely pass the ball, you'll notice a much bigger difference in the down distance recognition of your curl flat defenders, your pink defenders, and the get off of your defensive linemen. And again, you know, ratings will dictate how well they do it. So let's play pass. I have both of the curl to flat defenders audible to pinks. I'm manually controlling Harris. Let's snap the ball.
Yank.
Instead of going to the flat, he's in better position to cut that route off and obstruct it. You know, Calvin Pace is a pass rusher here, so he's not going to do a very good job. But see how he's much more apt to flare out, and what I like is that when I manually pattern match this, then he goes out to cover that. Cover 4. Not a very big fan of cover 4, of how it's implemented in video games. In real life, cover 4 is a pretty darn flexible defense, because you're able to show 8 in the box like so, or you can get really aggressive and go 9 in the box here and still have good seam protection down the middle of the field if your guys have the athletic ability to make that happen. But in the video game world, it's much more suited to a 3rd and long type of defense. One thing you want to be aware of when calling cover 4 and cover 3 is make sure you're not outflanked. For example, we see a trips here. What I do in this situation is zone to the right. You'll see that the safeties are shaded to the right. And the corner here is slightly angled to the inside. And you have pink zones by your outside guys. Linebacker in his hook zone. Sometimes what I'll do is create a cover 5, deep zone him. And as always, sometimes I'll have a spy or a hook out of one of my defensive tackles. Very good at cutting off the seams. I'm using Harris here, running with Keller.
All right, here we go. Wide and
Now notice the rotation of the safeties here when I have them angled to the right, audible to shift to the right. They're in much better position. Look how much better position Landry is to stay inside and keep his position on that seam. There's a little bit of a vulnerability outside here, but you can't have everything. You just got to play tendencies. And you see that cheating to the inside can open up that throw to the outside here deep. So you just got to be really careful and pay attention to what your opponent's tendencies are.
Red 18.
What you don't want in cover 3 is for this defender here, whether he's a curl to flat or a hook zone defender or a buzz zone defender, to be overwhelmed here with more bodies that he can cover. On the trip side, you see he's going to be under a lot of pressure here because he has to account for number 2 going vertical possibly, or if he breaks off, he has to take a peek here, and of course he always has the outside curl area. That's a lot for one guy to handle. So when you see a situation like this, you're in cover 3, flip the play. It just makes this guy's job a lot easier, and all you have to worry about here, if you're manually using the player or AI controlling the player, he has to be accountable for just the deep middle. It makes his job a lot easier. Cover 6, or quarters, quarters, halves.
We ready? Red 18. Red 18.
Quarters, quarters, halves. Why is it quarters? Quarters, halves, or cover 6? What in the world does cover 6 mean? Well, it's half cover 4, half cover 2. Hence cover 6. Got a twist stunt here. You have a cover 4 look here of this defender going into the pink zone. Quarter coverage, half coverage. Quarters, quarters, halves. Typically what I like to do is in a pass situation, long yard situation, is that I will audible this corner here into a hook zone. So it looks like half cover 2 sink, half cover 4. And with as often as I play a cover 2 sink, that comes in very, very handy. Also good run coverage to the right, as you have a corner filling here. If you have a good run support corner, he's going to make life difficult here. And you also have a linebacker coming out here, and you'll have a safety position to manually or AI fill here. And you also have good toss protection to the left with Pace coming out here. And if you have a good run coverage safety, he's going to fill here. It's a little bit weaker up the middle. Again, the twist stunt is good at obstructing draw plays. In pass situations, if you're not worried about the draw, you can audible him like so. And you can also create other looks by dropping a guy into a hook or a spy, or even 2 guys into a hooks and spies. Just combine it as much as you need to. You can create your own little bootleg Velcro plays and just have a 2-man rush. So that's some very basic zone coverage stuff. And I will, in part 2, go through a game where I will show you in live action what I'm doing, how and why. And then it's just up to you to practice and get better at it. That's pretty much it for now. Talk to you all later. Peace.